Welcome back to SMSGames Talk, and this is the 8 biggest differences between WWE 2K23 and WWE 2K22. This is obviously Gaming Bolt, so I'm just going to be commenting on this because I watched a little bit of it and I thought, well, you know what, I would do actually an SMS Games Talk video on it. And also, after this, there is also a guy saying why you should not get the Icon edition of WWE 2K23. He's talking about pre-ordering it, but it's out now, so it doesn't really matter. But I want to know why should we not get that, right? Anyway, start this from the start and let's go. So what's the biggest differences? We'll see.
And Visual Concepts have announced WWE 2K23. And ahead of its launch, a little more than a month from now, several new details
it's already launched,
so the wrestling series have already been unveiled. Last year's WWE 2K22 served as a solid return to form for the franchise after several years of poor releases. And it seems like developer Visual Concepts is hoping to keep that momentum going with a number of improvements and changes in WWE 2K23.
Okay,
Here,
obviously.
That's exactly what we'll be talking about. These are the 10 biggest differences players are going to see between this year's installment and its immediate predecessor. New Showcase Star.
That's what?
Every new WWE 2K game brings a new showcase mode and brings its own unique blend of wrestling gameplay and documentary style storytelling.
Yes, that's not a difference. That's just something you get all the time.
Last year, Rey Mysterio took center stage.
Yes.
And in this year's mode, we'll be diving into the wrestling career of perhaps...
That's not a difference. How's that different? It's the same thing.
John Cena, confirmed as the star in WWE 2K23 showcase mode. Of course, series fans will remember Cena having a key role to play in WWE 2K15
I'll let this guy stop.
which focused quite a bit on his rivalry with CM Punk. But this year's game is going to be all about him and his rise through the ranks. Cena will, of course, be narrating the events portrayed over the course of a 20-year period. Some of the matches you can expect to see recreated are WrestleMania 34, featuring The Undertaker, WrestleMania 28, featuring The Rock, SuperSlam 2021 featuring Roman Reigns.
Wait.
Hell in a Cell 2009 featuring Randy Orton.
Did he seriously just say Super Slam? Did he say Super Slam? Does this guy even know WWE? Oh my God. It's SummerSlam. God, I hate when people do that. Like, you're not a real serious wrestling fan, are you? You're just like a journo who's just trying to cover something WWE related to seem hip, cool, that you're like sort of in the world of wrestling in a way. It's not Super Slam. Like, you see these people, you can tell they don't watch WWE, obviously. Like, come on, that's not that hard. It's SummerSlam, not Super Slam. And also, he's already off because that's not a difference. Like, this is why I'm doing this, because, you know, just to correct him on, because like I'm a really big WWE fan, right? I buy these games ritually, like it's like a ritual to me. Every year I buy them. It's the most played game every year for me, is every release of WWE game. Showcase mode is not a difference. That's not a difference. The only thing you're getting that is different is what? The fact that you're playing as John Cena's, the opponents that beat John Cena, you're playing as them instead of the showcase star, and it's John Cena. But as he just mentioned, in 2K15, you know, he knows a little bit, not much, right? He's getting there. But I'm just saying, in 2K15, I think it was, now correct me if I'm wrong, yes, what he did mention was CM Punk and John Cena's rivalry. Yes, that was just a rivalry though. That wasn't actually following his career. This is following his career. So even though John Cena was on the cover of WWE 2K15 and now he's on the cover of WWE 2K22, I think we sort of need, like, you know, somebody who hasn't been on the cover before. That would be nice. But anyway, showcase mode is not a difference. It's the same thing that we're getting from last year, the same thing we're getting from like 3 years ago. So that's not a difference. He's wrong. Showcase mode is not a difference. They're just going to keep doing the same thing every year, just different superstar, right? So that it's not a difference. The only difference is we're playing as John Cena's opponents, and that's it. Other than that, everything else is the same. All right, so we'll continue.
Backlash 2003 featuring Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
Night of the Champions 2008.
Night of
featuring Triple
Champions.
H. New Year's Revolution 2006 featuring Edge, and many, many more.
Not Night of the Champions, you idiot.
More showcase changes.
What?
With WWE 2K23, Visual Concept is also putting a unique twist on the showcase mode formula. While past year's modes have seen players take control of the featured star through a series of fights over the course
That's
of
a
their
difference,
career,
yes.
this year, players will be playing against John Cena. Each
That
match
is a
will
difference,
see
I
you take
agree, yes.
Control of a different wrestler as they go up against Cena in the ring. 2K and Visual Concepts have yet to confirm the full list of who these playable stars are going to be, but a few have been revealed, including the likes of Rob Van Dam, The Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, and Triple H. Needless to say, if you're a Showcase fan who's been hoping for a shakeup to the formula, you're going to want to keep an eye on 2K23's mode.
Okay, yes.
War Games. One of the biggest additions WWE
Yes,
2K23
okay.
is introducing is War Games, which is completely a new match type that's likely to pique your curiosity. Each match in War Games will see 2 teams of 3 or 4 players squaring off against
Do
each
I say
other.
that's a difference?
And the big
Like,
twist? There will be 2
it's something
rings
new.
side
It's
by
not-
side, and both
is it
will be
different? I don't
enclosed by
know.
a steel cage. And depending on how both sides are performing, teammates will be allowed to enter at certain intervals. Weapons will, of course, be part of the proceedings, while NXT and Survivor Series will both be available as arenas. It's also been confirmed that War Games will be playable both solo and in multiplayer.
Okay. So why are you not showing off War Games here? Why are you showing off Showcase again?
My GM.
My GM's not
Moving back to series
that's not
staples,
different.
My GM is, of course, coming back in this year's game.
Yes,
And
coming
as
back, it's not a
expected,
difference.
We'll be making several improvements over last year's mode. The biggest, and the ones that fans will be happiest about, is the inclusion of multiple season, as opposed to the mode spanning
Yes, but
just
that's
one
not a
season like
difference.
it
A
did in
difference is
2K22.
something that is different, not the
However,
same, not something
whether that means you can
returning.
play the mode endlessly, or if there will be a cap on the number of seasons you can play through, remains to be seen. Meanwhile, unsurprisingly,
That's
the mode
still
will
not a
also add
difference.
new GMs for you to play as. While players
You can't
will
say a
now
returning
also be able
game
to
mode
choose their
is
own
different.
custom GM.
How?
On top of that, the mode will also feature more match types, expanded match cards, and support for 4 players.
Yes, but it's not a difference.
My Rise.
That's still not a
For
difference.
many, My Rise is going to be the main attraction in WWE 2K23.
Have they
Given
done
the fact that this
different
mode
things?
allows you to
A
create
little
your own
bit.
superstar and chart
But it's
your
not
path through
different.
the ranks to wrestling stardom. And while Visual Concepts and 2K are yet to provide details on how this year's mode will build upon WWE
It's not
2K22's
different.
offerings, one very particular improvement has been confirmed.
Yes.
And it's one that many fans have been hoping for.
And that is?
While 2K22's My Rise required a new player to be made specifically for the mode, this year players will be allowed to import any and all
Yes, which
created
is a
custom
delayed
wrestlers from
feature. We've
outside
needed
the
that
mode.
for years.
Meanwhile, just like last year's game, 2K23's My Rise mode will also feature 2 distinct storylines, dubbed The Lock and The Legacy,
Yeah.
depending on whether you're playing as a male or female wrestler. My Faction.
Oh my god.
My Faction was one of the biggest and more curious additions to be made in WWE.
Yes. I'll stop him there. He's not, apart from War Games, which is, yes, it's different because it's a different match type, right? So yes, I can agree with War Games, that's different. But he's not saying anything that's actually like other than War Games, right? Like Showcase mode, that's not different. That's just the only thing that's different about that is the fact, like when he said you'll be able to take control of John Cena's opponents. Yes, that's different. But Showcase mode in a whole, why did he need to have that as one of the 8 things? It's like a filler. It's not different. My Rise is not different. My GM is not different. Universe mode's not different. Do they add things? They should say, see, this list is completely out. It shouldn't be the biggest difference between 2K23 and 2K22. It should be, what have they added from 2K? Like, see, this is the thing I hate about lists like this, is they're not going on what is different. They're just going on what's been added to it. What is different is a complete new other game mode or something like that, right? or a complete new element that they've added to the game that is different. Like, you can't turn around and say gameplay is different. It's not. It feels the same. It flows the same. The only difference between the gameplay is the fact that you got 2K22 and 2K23, and yes, the flow of the matches, the AI, I guess, right? That's what's different. That is a difference. But in terms of, it's the exact same game, just with a fresh new coat of paint. That's all it is. You know, it's just been updated, and then people say differences. What's really different? What, they added war games? Like, My Rise is not different. They just added stuff. It should be what's added, not what's different. It's not different. It's the same thing. They just added stuff. So this whole gaming, Gaming Bolt is list is completely off. Because it's not different. It's not what they have done different. It's just what they've added on top of existing game modes. It's not different though. Right? What would be different is if they took My GM out and then swapped it for something called, I don't know, My Titles or something, or My WrestleMania or something like that, right? Like on My Streak. That's a difference, because that's a different game mode. You get what I'm saying, right? I'm just saying, this is not differences. This is just what they've added on top of existing game modes.
22. And though it's proved to be somewhat divisive due to its emphasis on card collection-centric structure, there were...
My faction's shit anyway. No one cares about my faction.
We don't yet have a clear picture of how this year's game is going to improve upon the mode, but one particular detail has been confirmed. While last year's My Faction was an exclusively single-player mode, this year's mode will make multiplayer an option as well.
Who cares about that?
Customization.
That's... Okay, alright, tell me the difference.
Customization mechanics have always been a crucial part of the WWE games, so it's no surprise that WWE 2K23
that's My Rise, though.
With a robust customization toolset to create...
But that's not part of customization. What you're showing is not part of customization. That's part of My Rise.
The specifics on exactly what sort of improvements and additions we can expect from the game on this front. But one thing that Visual Concepts and 2K have confirmed is that advanced entrance customization options, which were missing in WWE 2K22, will be coming back.
Which is very good,
Series fans have, over the years, spent a lot of time customizing the entrance of the wrestling stars with a vast range of available options. So here's hoping this feature's comeback proves to be a solid one.
Which is, but it needs to be patched.
Roster. Each year, WWE's entry introduces
What's
new
different?
playable superstars to its roster of wrestlers.
Yes.
And this year's game is going to be no different. 2K and Visual Concepts...
It's going to be no different.
WWE
Exactly.
2K23 will feature a roster of over 170 superstars at launch, which is a little bit more than what its predecessors had on offer upon release.
Is that different, though?
Expect, the vast
No, it's just
majority of
adding.
this roster will feature returning characters who featured in last year's game as well. But of course, several of newcomers will also get a seat at the table, including the likes of the Bella Twins, Nikki and Brie.
They've been in the game before, that's not different.
Cody Rhodes and Molly Holly. Meanwhile, it's also been confirmed that with the Bad Bunny bonus pack and the Ruthless Aggression pack,
Who cares about Bad Bunny?
More characters will join the roster as well.
God, that was such a waste, the Bad Bunny crap. Could have done somebody way more better. Why'd I have to choose Bad Bunny for?
This is a completely different style of video to what I'd usually make for this channel. But as you see in the title...
Okay, alright. Before I get onto this bloke here, this is the bloke who's talking about why you should not buy the Icon edition of 2K23. I'll get onto that in a minute. And I know it seems like I'm ribbing on 2K23. I am not. Alright, don't get me wrong. It's a fantastic game, but it is 2K22 with a fresh coat of paint. Done very well, don't get me wrong, right? With the advanced engines creation, that needs to be patched. There's a lot of problems there, right? A lot of the pyro actually does not do anything, and the way that it's set up is you need to be able to push square in order to preview stuff instead of having to go on it and then go all the way back through all the options. For example, if you choose Xavier Woods' entrance motion, like on the ramp or whatever, you have to go all the way back through all the A's, all the B's, all through everyone, and you have to like search through just to get to Xavier Woods again, and then you have to push X on PlayStation in order to preview that one part. Like it needs to be patched. Just like with Create an Arena, there is several stage setups in stage construction where you go to, like, you know, do a stage like an entrance ramp or whatever, and a lot of them actually you cannot apply your own logos to. You know, like one of the Raw sets, the SmackDown set, you know, even that big roller coaster WrestleMania 33 set, I'm pretty sure you can't do your own logos on that. That needs to be patched. So by all means, 2K23 is not perfect. It is just 2K22 with a fresh coat of paint on it. I do realize that. So now that I get on to what this bloke is about to talk about, why you should not buy WWE 2K23, the Icon Edition, why it's a ripoff. Let's get into this and see what this guy has to say.
This is just my warning and opinion to give to you that you should not buy the Icon Edition for the game.
Okay,
it's
why?
Completely not worth the money. Now, no disrespect to 2K.
Okay.
What you're putting your money to is not worth the Icon Edition. You may as well buy the standard, and I will tell you why. Right.
A lot of people do have that opinion.
Why
yeah.
You should definitely not buy the Icon Edition. So as you can see, the standard edition, pre-order it, you get Bad Bunny. I don't give a shit about Bad Bunny.
No, neither do I. Neither do I.
Pre-order the game and you get this, whatever edition you get. Now, I'm working with pounds, dollars. You can convert it to your price range. 50 quid. For the base game.
Yeah.
You don't get early access, you don't get the season pass.
Early access doesn't really matter.
You get with the Icon Edition, which aren't worth it. Deluxe Edition, you get the game 3 days early. Now be real with yourself. Do you need the game 3 days early?
No, you don't.
Because I was thinking about getting this edition so I could play it 3 days early, so I can make content earlier. But no one really cares about seeing it early.
Yeah, that's true.
As long as
that
they
is
get
true.
The content they like. And for people that aren't going to make content, you can wait 3 days.
Yeah, exactly.
For the sake of £40.
I do agree with that,
now,
yes.
Albeit, the deluxe edition does include the season pass. If I'm going to be honest, you don't need the season pass until the first DLC is out at least. So save yourself the money now and don't buy the deluxe edition. Because you're just wasting money that you won't see for a while. And then the Icon Edition, Jesus Christ, the most unworth it thing I've seen in a while.
Okay.
Now, 2K22, it did okay. You got the NWO stuff, which
that was still not worth it though. That was still useless.
In the game, you can get created wrestlers, which I'm going to suggest to you for this instead of buying this. So the Icon Edition costs £105. That's not a cheap amount of money, especially in the time we live.
It's $175 for me.
15 quid that you spend on this, all you get is the Ruthless Aggression pack and an Icon Edition bonus pack for my faction, which you'll never use.
Yeah, because no one gives a shit about my faction.
Slightly further into my faction. So that's a complete waste.
Yes.
For starters. Now the Ruthless Aggression pack, which you have to pay £105 for to get, gets you the Leviathan John Cena, a younger Randy Orton, a younger Batista, it's the OVW versions, and then a younger Brock Lesnar. You also get a WrestleMania 22 arena and the John Cena Legacy Championship. Now, big red flag that I'm telling you right now, which you might not realise, all those characters you get in the DLC, you already get in the game. And it's not like I'm saying you get the normal versions, you get the younger versions. You're literally paying to have them before they were in the WWE. Now, unless you're a big fan of what they looked like then, or you are into the prior to WWE kind of thing, then you don't need this at all.
That's true. That's true.
You need this because you're going to get a younger Brock Lesnar. That's already no doubt about it. You can see it in the showcase. You're going to get the Viper Randy Orton when he was bald, which is the younger Randy Orton you'll probably want. And then you're going to get a younger Batista. There's no point in this pack. The WrestleMania 22 arena is the only thing that gives this life. Give it a week or two, and that'll be a created arena in the game. And the championship, are you going to use that?
No.
Because I sure as hell would not. I never use the custom belts. Now this is just my opinion, but I feel like it needs to be put out there because I don't think anyone has said this. And like I say, no hate to 2K whatsoever. This is just my opinion and trying to save you guys some money. Because I was debating the £105 one until I realised you get all this stuff anyway, literally just slightly younger, and they wouldn't be worth using in the game, in my opinion. Now, albeit if you pre-order either the deluxe or the Icon, you get the Mega Boost pack, which lets you give your My Rise player boosts instead of working for them. And it also unlocks the Supercharger pack, which unlocks all the parts of the game for you which you would play to earn, which I've never understood why you would want to do that, because you're basically getting rid of your time in the game by paying, which doesn't make sense to me. If you like to have everything straight away, fair enough, but please, for the love of God, unless you're a big fan of what they were before WWE, don't buy it. Don't stick to the base version of the game. Buy the season pass later on down the line. Do yourself a favour. Peace.
Alright, so we go back. And I'll actually... Does he show, or can I see? No? Okay. I thought he was going to... Right, yeah. Look, based on what he said, yeah, he is telling the truth about what he's... Like, he's just saying it straightforward it is. Yeah, you don't need it. Like, here in Australia, it's $175. It was for me, right? The Icon Edition. Is it something that is worth it? No, it's not, and I'm not trying to repeat myself on what this guy just said, but where I see it is every single year, right now I only get the Icon Edition, only get the real big expensive edition if you are ritually buying this game. And what I mean by ritual is, like me, every year, it's the one game you put your heart and soul into, right, that you play all the time. It's just that one game that you know that you don't give a shit what useless crap they put in it, what useless My Faction, Bad Bunny, 3 days early, 4 days early, you don't give a shit, right? The reason why I buy the $175 Icon Edition of 2K23 and why every year I buy that big, edition, right, that the Legends Edition, whatever the hell I want to call it, right? The reason why I get the expensive one is because I look at it like this. Yes, you're getting a bunch of useless shit in there that you don't care about, but at the same time, though, at least you know you've got everything, right? Now, whether you're going to use half that crap or not, at least I know that I've got it, right? So then if I ever did want to do anything with it, then it's there. And I've run into that problem in the past when I haven't. When I've just bought the standard edition and all the rest of it, right? Is when DLCs come out and all the rest of it, I've ended up buying the Supercharger or the Kickstarter, whatever the hell they call it, right? I've brought that, yes, and you do get all the DLCs and you're saying it's not worth it. But at least you know that you're preloaded. At least you know that you've got it. It's there, right? So you know that you're more than ready, more than prepared. You got everything. You know that when 2K drops anything in the future, you know that you're covered. And it's just that sense of security. Am I going to use half this shit? No, I'm not. Do I give a crap about Bad Bunny? No, I don't. Do I care about the My Faction bonus? No, I don't care. Right? But at the same time, it is there if my interest ever peaked, which it won't ever peak for My Faction, right? Because that's just a useless game mode. 2K Originals had more to it. Meant more to me. Piqued my interest a lot more than crappy My Faction. You want to play WWE card game? Play WWE Supercard on your mobile or some shit, right? Or like on your phone. Just play it on your phone, your Android or your iOS, iPhone, whatever, right? You got WWE Supercard for a reason. You don't need to have that stupid card bullshit on a freaking WWE game. On a proper WWE game. You could take My Faction out and replace it with a game mode or replace it with something more meaningful. But getting back to, is the Icon Edition worth it? Let me be frank on this. I'll say something that he did not say. It is only worth it if that is your thing. If you're in the same position as me and you just want that sense of security that you've got everything. Right? Doesn't matter if you're going to use it or not. As I said, I'm not going to use half the shit I get. But at least I know I'm covered. I've got the Kickstarter, I've got the Supercharger, I've got everything, right? And one of my most favorite things is I like to recreate everything from the previous game, right? Which is the most pain in the ass thing. He's got this guy who gets on here and says the Icon Edition is not worth it, but nobody, not one person will make a video based on an import button. Import all your creations, all your hard work that you spent a full year doing import everything from 2K22 over to the fresh coat of paint 2K23. Why couldn't they do that? Why can't they do that with 23 going on to 24? It's just an import button. See, I'm the sort of person where I have to spend like a month or two recreating everything. And it's a real pain in the ass, it's a real hassle. So that's why getting the Icon Edition is worth it for me, because that's the least of my issues. Is recreating everything that I did on 2K22, right? All the custom superstars, all the custom arenas, custom championships, custom everything. That is a hassle. So this guy sort of carrying on about whether the Icon Edition is not worth it or whatever, right? That's your own taste preference, right? If you're thinking and you're dodging between it, saying is it worth it, is it not worth it? As far as I'm concerned, it's worth it in terms. See, I'm 50-50 on it. It's worth it in terms of having that security, knowing that you brought everything. Are you going to use it? Probably not. You're not going to use half the shit they give you. But at least you've got it that if you did want to use it, just say you watched a couple of YouTube videos and you suddenly got interested in using Bad Bunny, or maybe something piqued your interest of My Faction or My Jam, or like whatever you get in there, right? At least you know you got it. At least you know every DLC that releases, you've got that. You're down pat, you've got it. Now, the part where I say that you don't need it, if you're just happy with the base game and you play this, WWE games casually here and there, you don't really do much with it, maybe going to creations, you're just having a little bit of fun with it, then no, you don't need it. You only need the standard edition. But if you're playing it all the time like me, if you're a vet player like me, right, then yes, it is worth it in terms of if you play it all the time. If you play it ritually, like it is like a cult ritual to play it, then yes, by all means it is worth it. But if you're only playing it casually, then the standard edition is the best way to go. No, you don't need all the useless shit they give you, but it feels good to be able to have it and know that you've got it. Because it's like part of like completion of the game, is you go through, you do showcase mode, you play universe mode, My Rise, My Faction, My GM, you do everything and you ace everything, right? But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, yes, you unlock things. And he's saying, what's the point of getting the supercharger or the Kickstarter to be able to unlock everything? Because that's one less hassle. That I can play through these modes and actually have fun playing it and not have to literally hit all the objectives to unlock shit, because I'm not playing it to unlock stuff. I'm playing it for the fun of it, not to unlock stuff. And I know people say that's the reason why you play through these game modes, is to literally unlock stuff, is to be rewarded for what you're doing. I don't see it like that. I see it as, I play it for the fun. For the fun of Showcase, for the fun of My Rise, fuck My Faction off, My GM, that's an overhyped game mode, My Universe, right? Or Universe mode, sorry. I'm surprised they're not calling it My Universe. They will, give it time, they will. But Universe mode, that is the one game mode that I reckon that they need to focus on, right? Is create an arena. Like, they need to actually focus on a lot of the creation suite stuff. Create championships need to have 3D effect to them. Create an arena, that needs a lot of love and attention. By all means, is that it's not bad, but it's not the worst, but it's not the best, They've done pretty good with Create a Superstar with the skin textures to making them look just as good as the in-game models. So they did really good with Create a Superstar, but not to get sidetracked, not to get off track, but is the Icon Edition worth it? If you're playing it all the time, yes. If you're playing it casually, no. Right, and I mean casually as if maybe you chuck it on, play it for a little bit, a couple of hours, then let it go for a couple of months and then play it again. You do not need the standard edition. Playing it like once or twice a week, you're still standard edition. Now, if you're going like almost every single day and you're playing it, then of course, I say Icon Edition all the way, because you're a vet player, you play it all the time. It's worth having in terms of just knowing that you got it. But other than that, if you're not playing it all the time, it's just go standard edition or even deluxe edition. You don't need any more above that. But anyway, this has just been me commenting on, gaming bolts and this guy. I don't even know this guy's name. I literally just saw his video come up and recommended, and I thought I'd cover it. But yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode of SMS Games Talk. 8 biggest differences between WWE 2K23 and WWE 2K22, and is WWE 2K23 Icon Edition worth it? And as always, if you're not videoing it, it ain't worth shit. Take care, guys.